All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second round of the Ozone sponsored tournament. This time it is going to be a Diamond versus Masters. Kind of excited.
Yes, it's going to be good. Now that we've sorted out the bracket woes, we get to actually get into another game.
Yes, amen to that.
Mr. MaximusBlack, hit me up with the sound of the bracket program breaking and then having people be mass confused.
Why?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, that's it.
Such is life. Up here in the top right-hand side of Overgrowth,
Yep.
we have Mr. Nova. Not quite my name.
Not quite. Halfway there.
Almost there. And down the bottom left, we have Fish Mob. We have a
Fish Mob.
PVZ, sir.
Yes, once again, this is an all-random tournament, and it is, if whoever loses is out. It's not till next round where it becomes a best 2 out of 3.
This is just straight up a single elimination round still. Next round, we actually have best of 3s beginning. You've played a couple of games of Starcraft here in the last month or so.
Yep.
Have you played PVZ on this map?
Yeah, of course.
What is your take on PVZ on this map?
This is actually one of the PVZ maps that I like, only because my style, I stay on 2 base anyway, but a 3rd base is a little ways away, but at the same time for the Zerg, it is a little ways away as well, which means if you do, most of the time Zerg will go ahead and get a fast 3rd, and when I'm doing a 2 base all in, if I immediately go after the natural, it takes the Zerg a little while to bring reinforcements over, and sometimes I can even cut a few of them off and get some kills. So it's a good map for me. If you're playing a macro-styled game, PVZ, I don't really know, because we all know I don't play macro-style very often unless I'm actually in tournaments. Then for some reason, I'm not as cheesy when I play in tournaments, which makes absolutely no sense. But
Ends up biting you in the ass a lot.
Sometimes,
too.
yeah, sometimes. Well, when I was in my prime at that
back in my day.
Back in my prime, when I came 2nd place in that tournament, I played a lot of macro games and did pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good for me, but maybe bad for long term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's my opinion.
One way or another. So this is hopefully going to be a relatively exciting match. Close. We've actually lucked out with the pairing so far. They haven't been like huge discrepancies.
No.
They've actually been pretty similar. So I'm looking forward to seeing another close game. That is for sure. Right now, our Protoss player getting into that cyber, getting his other gate, sticking to 1 gas, looking like he's just going to be doing some normal shit.
Well, I don't know how normal this really is against Zerg, because unless he's doing a 4-gate, which it seems it might be, normally you go 1 gate into an expansion. If you're doing a 1-gate expand.
Wait, when you're random, do you get to see their race going into the game, or do you?
No, of course not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when I say normal.
Did he not scout? Yeah, he may not have scouted early on.
Well, he has a probe here, but
I think he's just 4-gating. He might just only know.
Yeah.
He might not play Protoss.
I wasn't paying attention if he scouted before he decided 4-gate.
There's the 4-gate. Because if it was a normal build, he would have went 1 gate into expand or forge fast expand or even Nexus first.
Yeah.
The fact that he got the 2nd gateway really kind of threw off, and the fact he's 1 gas threw off some red flags that he's doing a 4-gate.
Yeah, it's 4-gate, but I don't know if he scouted first then 4-gated, or if he just 4-gated blindly in the hopes that it wasn't Zerg, because 4-gating a Zerg is usually not going to work well.
It's a bad time, and he kind of showed his cards. Nice micro there with the Zealot, but even nicer micro with the Lings. You know, 1 Zealot can actually take out like 5 Lings if you're God. If you're God, yeah, and the Zerg doesn't do any micro. But what threw things away for Fish Mob here is he had a 2nd probe, it got caught, and then immediately Nova was like, "Oh, yo, this is some cheese shit. I don't see an expand here. This has to be a 4-gate." He immediately threw up 3 spine crawlers. There is absolutely no way
he's not getting in there.
That he's getting in there, unless he just legitimately runs past these, and
he'll take a lot of damage getting up that ramp.
He'll take too much damage.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of damage.
Yeah. So
you are a popular man today.
I'm a popular man. It's almost
all the women in your life.
It's almost wedding time, bro. Yeah, and my phone is just nonstop.
Just nonstop all the time. You know what else is nonstop? Those 3 spine crawlers that will endlessly probe that poor stalker's asshole if he even tries to get within a shot distance of there. At this point, I would have just turned around and gone home.
He actually needs to do that.
And no, and then that, see that 300 minerals he just blew right there?
Yeah, waste.
That should be actually maybe a couple of cannons to try and prepare himself at his expansion.
Yeah, well, I like the fact that he is getting an expand here. He's not overcommitting on this 4-gate push. I think he realizes that this is just not going to work out for him. Warped in 1 century. That's an interesting warp in. Yeah.
Don't question it.
Okay, yeah.
Don't question it.
I'm just trying to think.
He's still warping in zealots right now, and that tells me that he really is truly thinking of storming the gates.
And here comes the counterattack, and he's free to do this because if he decides to go up here, there's a lot of spine crawlers. If he can do one more warp cycle of zealots and he had a mothership core back here, he might actually have broke this. Oh, now there's another spine crawler, but he may have actually broke through this and would have been okay, but now he's just back at base. A really bad warp cycle there. He's gonna lose both, and he's gonna take some mineral harassment, and now he's gonna be pushing up. It's just not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out for him.
Even if he gets rid of these 3 spine crawlers at the front, he's gonna suffer too much loss. Yeah, there's the transfuses happening right now. He might
nice
get
clean
that
save.
one. No, he will not.
Nope.
And he successfully holds, losing a whopping 1 spine crawler.
Meanwhile, he has taken 7 probe kills, which isn't too bad considering
only 4 lings got in.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
That's not terrible.
But this is terrible.
The follow-up is going to be terrible.
Yeah, this is going to be a bad. Oh, even that sentry is going to be destroyed.
Freebie.
I was not a fan of that sentry warp in the first place.
Freebie.
Well, he does have the mothership core, so he will get an overcharge off. But if he overcharges 1 Nexus, the Lings are just going to run into the other base.
Exactly.
And there it is. So the Lings are probably going to run. Oh, he's just going to run out. Okay. I don't mind that either. Whatever.
One way or another.
Yeah. He doesn't know exactly what he has in the base, so it is sort of a smart move.
Nova right now is thinking, he 4-gated. I just saw that he has no probes on his expansion. I'm 2 base up. I'm gonna grab a 3rd base because I know that there ain't nothing coming my way that I can't handle for the foreseeable future. And especially now that he's wasted that, or not wasted, but used that overcharge, now he knows that if he does want to go down later, he's also good for a short period of time. So right now, Nova, he's just taking his cards and he's going home. And he'll come back and play another day.
Yeah, no, I like that. He's not overextending. He knows he has the lead. He's just making his lead bigger and bigger. And eventually he will just overrun this Protoss player. And he managed to get up there. Very nice. He's going to go in there, probably hold position on this mineral line. But very good reaction there from Fishmob. Immediately moving the probes, but still taking some probe heat in the process. And all these Lings, for the most part, are going to survive. Maybe 1 more will go down. And now he's going to run down here, maybe pick off 1 more probe before he leaves. And decent harassment. Now he's gonna get out.
He is getting a lot of value out of these Lings right now, Mr. Black.
And even Chrono Boost, a Nexus that is not even building any probes. He is rocked right now. He's rocked.
His cage is rattled.
Yep.
His jimmies are rustled. And his probes are dying consistently. This Zerg, Mr. Nova here, is doing quite well. No questions about it.
No.
He's getting a lot of Walmart value out of his small little Ling harassment unit. Now going to clean up, finally, that forward pylon from the original 4-gate as he gets his 3rd expansion. And really, Fishmob... I don't know what Fishmob's going to do to come back into this.
He just basically has to turtle up and try and figure out a way to kind of cheese his way back in this, whether it's a...
He needs to have a fight that he shouldn't win.
Yeah.
Go in his favor.
It's one of those 2 things.
Yeah.
He needs to catch the Zerg off guard, or he needs to do something fancy, maybe do a Sentry Warp Prism drop, force field this off, and try and do some damage on the main.
Yeah,
force
even the economy up.
Force a counterattack, take advantage of your home. Having home advantage and deal with those units that come at the base. There's only a couple of things. I mean, if he tries to expand right now, Zerg is just going to start building a shit ton of units and go and punish him for it. So he's really in no position to expand. But if he is going to do it, he should do it right now. And about once the units start being made, it's going to become increasingly more difficult. In fact, I am surprised that Nova doesn't have more units yet. Like just Roach is being pumped out. He's going hard economy right now.
Macroing right now.
Yeah.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world, but there's going to be a point of diminishing returns on that because as soon as he had his 3rd base starting to get saturated, I don't actually agree with this 4th base.
Yeah, he's shitting his lead away. He's getting maybe, I don't know,
If Fish Mob doesn't actually attack, it will pay off.
Yep.
But I feel like Fish Mob is going to feel like he needs to attack, and it might happen before Nova actually starts making any units. The other thing that concerns me a bit here is that I would be okay with this if Nova had better map coverage. He doesn't see anything but where those lings are. So if those lings get chased off or thrown into position, he doesn't have towers, he doesn't have overlords, he doesn't have anything, so he doesn't know if an attack is going to really come.
Yep.
And so without that, he's going to be blindly guessing when to start making units at his many bases, and that can backfire. And right now he at least sees, at the very least, the third base is going up, and maybe now his fourth will pay off, but I still think Fish Mob should be scouting and considering going forward.
Oh no, this would be really bad for Nova.
Go!
Alright, so he's gonna pause the game real quick. He's having some lag issues, that's fine.
Quick reflexes.
It's okay. Alright. Just had a quick... Had me a little
That would
nervous
have been
there.
tragic.
So immediately once he pushed out with those units and killed off those lings, he started pumping out the Hydralisks, and he's got a lot of them obviously because his economy is just so epic right now, doubling the income and gas of Fish Mob. He needs to go. He needs to scout. He needs to figure out that Hydras are the unit of choice here for Nova, and immediately tech into Colossus.
Yep.
Not now, but right now. And if he doesn't want to go that route, he's at least going to have to get High Templar. Even with this many sentries, this is a lot of gas he just burned. He does need it, so I do like the Warpin, because if a counter does happen, which it is, he's going to need force fields to kind of break up these units a bit. But that gas, man, should have at least started into getting higher tech. Now he is getting a Templar Archive, which is nice. But if Nova decides to push here and these force fields aren't on point,
it's not gonna.
He's gonna lose this third and his units.
Even if he loses his, even if he like defends it just, and Nova has to turn around, he's just gonna remax Roach and run down here and storm everything with Roach and Circle.
Yep. Here we go. It's all gonna boil down to the force fields. There's an overcharge there.
Those are not the force fields he was
were not. That was not good. That surround on those units are real. The lings were put in position. He is now getting fucked on the corner of this wall. It's like the Vayne train smashing the side of that move that the Vayne does in League of Legends, you know, against the wall. What's that move called? I don't know what that move's called.
Condemn.
Condemn? Using the condemned against them on the side of the wall, and that happened. What the hell happened there? Why did he run away? He had him in a perfect position.
The Guardian Shields managed to keep enough of his Stalkers alive to get him out of that.
Okay.
However, this is a terrible life choice. Because here's the roaches I told you about. Remember that time I said he's just gonna come back with roaches?
Yeah.
It's happening.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. And that can basically continue to happen between now and the end of time. And he could just keep going.
Well, his economy is retarded, dude. He's 194 to 200 to 98. This game is done. The economy just... It would have been a beautiful thing to see if Fish Mob had some scouting information, realized that the fourth was going up, and immediately went up and attacked, dropped a proxy pile, and just all-ended him right there. That was his chance. But now that the economy has officially really, you know, kicked in, there's just not a chance. It's not happening.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Nova. Nova who? I've actually got no clever end to that. I was hoping by the time I got to the end that I'd have
figure it out,
but nothing actually just came up. It's a great way to end that cast. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to the next round, which means best 2 out of 3 is going to begin. And hopefully I will have better jokes. Because fuck me.